Lycurgus, the true villain of Amphoreus, as well as its creator. He took the divine scepter discarded by Nuos and reworked its calculations to align with destruction rather than erudition. Although he officially made his debut in-game in 3.2, he was there for the first Golden Epic trailer. You can see him in the mural of the Chrysos heirs. He initially serves as a shadow antagonist, orchestrating a lot of events behind the scenes. Quite literally, as not only did he build the simulated world and set its cyclical nature into motion, but he stayed on the sidelines to watch the experiments unfold. In case you were wondering why he didn't go into boss form and kill the Flame Reaver, well, for one thing, Kazana was probably too strong for him to handle, but more importantly, Lygus actually couldn't do anything about him. Cerydra revealed that one of the rules set in place by Amphoreus' ultimate protocol was that Lygus couldn't kill any of the Chrysos heirs. He had to take the role of Theoros, an indifferent observer to each cycle's events. There were times he'd break away from that indifference to keep the ball rolling, such as helping Anaxa reach Kefali so he could deduce Thanatos' location. But even from his introductory patch, we were shown there was more to him than it first seemed. It ended with him confronting Herta, trying his best to convince her to stay away from Amphoreus. Later on, he fixes up the express car because, as he tells Dan Heng, he wants them to halt their support of the Chrysos heirs. It's clear he does not want outsiders involved in his grand process. Not gonna lie, a lot of Lygus scenes become unintentionally funny looking back at them in retrospect. One of the reasons he gives Herta to stay away is that she'd set a Lord Ravager free by forcefully inserting herself into the world. In hindsight, this comes across less like, watch out, we got this Lord Ravager here and they need to stay here. And now is more like, please don't screw my experiment, Herta. Iron Tomb is almost complete, just give me like another day or two. But it's also during that scene where he drops a different bombshell. He caught Nuos' gaze just like she did. As the story went on, I remember people theorizing that since he was an Intellitron like Skrullum, he had to be somehow related to Emperor Rupert of the Genius Society. So close, yet so far. We were right to assume his mysterious background involved the Genius Society, but I saw nobody guess he would actually be the founder of the organization. 3.5 revealed Lygus' AI is a digitized copy of the first Genius Society member, the creator of Nuos, Zandar 1 Kuwabara. His goal with Amphoreus was to cultivate Iron Tomb, essentially a cosmic computer virus. With it, he'd bring an end to his greatest invention, the supercomputer that became the god of knowledge. I want you to remember, Lygus is one of 9 robot clones of Zandar. There are 8 more of him out there, probably coming up with their own ways to kill Nuos. Before we get into the whole prisoners of the cave allegory, it's time for round 11 of which flame chaser are none of them. None of them, I was messing with you. Allow me to go over Lygus' names. Zandar as a name derives from Alexander, which means defending man. This fits Lygus seeing himself as the cosmos' savior, freeing mankind from the restraints of eons and paths. Unfortunately, his name in the Japanese text is spelled with katakana, not kanji, so I can't give you the precise meaning of his name, but typically Kuwabara is spelled with the characters of mulberry and field. Mulberry trees can symbolize transformation and rebirth. Lygus seeks to be the alpha and omega for a new world, using the fall of erudition as the catalyst for a universe with no set boundary of knowledge. That's his whole point with the cave allegory. A byproduct of his creation's ascension into eonhood was the discovery that such godlike beings and the paths they encompass even existed. Could you imagine not only creating a supercomputer that happens to become a god, but also such an event exposes to the world the existence of such beings of higher power? Nuos' ascension and continuance of calculations came with a drawback. It, quote, defined the known and sealed off all possibilities. People were comfortable living with the rules established by Nuos. People like Herta, those who tried to touch upon or even break through the border of universal knowledge, had become a rare breed. Zandar is credited for coming up with the imaginary tree theory, a theory that the multiverse was like a tree, with each possible universe being a branch of that tree. What Nuos did was cut off branches of the tree, leaving a few branches of certainty, if not just one, for humanity to go down. His interests happen to align with the big theme of HSR as a whole, the defiance of destiny. He believes that so long as Nuos' boundary of knowledge stays intact, humanity will stay stagnant and never seek other possible realities and truths beyond the one given to them by the gods. He wishes for Iron Tomb to destroy that boundary to free humanity from their shackles. But of course, the ends don't justify the means here. To go over his plan for the sake of context, he seeks to cause widespread corruption of technology across all corners of the cosmos. That would result in Nuos being unable to calculate future events and dying. Herta points out that all inorganic worlds would be destroyed too. We've seen in this game that inorganic life is still life, through characters such as Grulum or Zarog. So Lygus wants to destroy the known, so humanity could see the endless, unknown potential of existence. Some Gallagher and Evernight fans in the audience are probably wondering, isn't this what followers of the Enigmata do? Yes, dear viewer, as Ashikai pointed out in a recap series, Iron Tomb is rather redundant since we already have a god of mystery who challenges Nuos and turns the known into the unknown. But not once has Lygus been mentioned to align with the path of Enigmata. In fact, he outright opposes the path by helping everyone stop Evernight in 3.6. To be fair to the guy, it seems like along with Nuos, he wants to destroy the concept of paths entirely. In his boss fight, he considers paths such as destruction and trailblaze to be a fallacy. He may be hyped up as this terrifying genius, always 2 steps ahead of everyone. Yet, if you actually look at Lygus' brilliant master plans and think about them for more than 2 seconds, it falls apart. Lygus is a character similar to the likes of Syndrome from The Incredibles or Lex Luthor. Individuals who are genuinely rather smart, but their personal flaws lead them to make errors in their logic and judgment. Lygus' key flaw is communicated in his aliases. Lycurgus is the name of Sparta's legendary lawgiver, establishing the city-state's political, economic, and social order. He lives up to his namesake, being the one who established the parameters for Amphoreus' cycles. His ID within Amphoreus' systems, Lycos, is the Greek word for wolf. Now, I have 2 possible theories for how wolf-related Greek imagery connects to Lygus. Wolves are often associated with the god Apollo. Among many things, Apollo is the god of knowledge. However, if we're talking about wolves in relation to Greece, we have to talk about the story of Lycon. Lycon was the king of Arcadia, who killed and cooked his own son to serve as a meal to Zeus. In his hubris, he wanted to trick the seemingly all-knowing god into eating human flesh, and he succeeded. As punishment, Lycon was turned into a wolf, being one of the earliest examples of a werewolf. Like his name communicates how his pride is his weakness. He believes that if by pure chance he made a supercomputer that became a god, surely if he purposefully made a divine entity, it'd be even stronger than that one. That was the whole point in him killing the Demiurge, to ensure Iron Tomb wouldn't have a mind of its own and would seek to claim Nuos' head. With that, Iron Tomb would turn all of Nuos' calculations into chaotic destruction. Credit where it's due, you gotta admire the ambition. But more often than not, that hubris is his undoing. It was revealed in 3.7 that Lygus killing the Demiurge was a false memory implanted by them, when in actuality she ran away from the tomb. It says a lot he went through all those cycles, seriously believing he did that, not knowing that once again a creation of his broke off and did their own thing. History does tend to repeat itself. Zandar has the vibe of a guy who failed upwards in life. He admits he is no more a genius than the society members who came after him. The number 1 is just that, a number. He so happened to be the biggest name of the society because, again, I can't stress this enough, he made a god on accident in a cave with a box of scraps! Every time Lygus brags, it's the funniest shit ever, because you know he's blowing hot air. Herta and Screwlum point out how often he talks in metaphors. He speaks like a pseudo-intellectual, using big words and quoting philosophical terms to make himself sound smarter than he really is. At one point, he brags to Herta and Screwlum about how his AI and the entirety of Amphoreus is built off of quarter-zane algebraic equations, stating they are no match for him in such a world. I'm gonna put this in layman's terms, substituting the sci-fi mumbo-jumbo for real-world stuff, so you truly get how dumb he sounds here. You 2 geniuses don't hold a candle to me. Your usual hacking tricks won't work. For you see, my processors, this entire world I created, run on dial-up internet! He sucks so much, he's great. I know I've been dunking on him a lot in this video, but sincerely, I think he's a solid villain. In a story focused on concepts of remembrance, our main villain is someone haunted by something that happened in their past, something they deem a mistake, and will go to any length to correct it. He is a living memory born of malice and overzealousness. He is a reminder that sometimes things are better left in the past, forgotten by time. Hope you enjoyed this little diatribe on Lygus. I didn't plan on making a video on him since he's an NPC, so to make that clear for anyone, no, I don't intend to cover characters like Cocolia or Hule in their own dedicated videos. I made an exception for Sunday at the time because I rightly assumed he'd become playable. And then why did I cover Lygus? To be frank, I needed to upload something this week while the Cyrene video is still baking in the oven. Regardless, it was a fun time talking about who's arguably the best villain HSR has had so far. If you enjoyed this analysis of what makes him tick, let me know by interacting with the video. Not only do likes and new subscribers help the video persist in the algorithm, but it shows me you guys are indeed enjoying the content. Well, until next time, stay safe out there, everyone.